Hello, this is Coach Sammy33. It's time for the Block 3 review. Didn't get our game in early enough to get in the article with the conference commissioner. That's okay. We did get the game in, and we are done with the block. So Sunday, which will be today, we will be moving on to the next block, and you can see the matchups that we'll have there. On the road in the Springs here, backyard, or well, going up north against the Falcons at the Air Force Academy, and then at home against Utah State. And then things will start to get a little bit spicy in terms of the schedule. You'll have Colorado State, sneaky team. Wyoming, obviously a team I put in my top 25. They've played well this season. Oh, they put up 60 points against USC. I'm pretty sure if you gave me 6 quarters, I wouldn't be able to do that. So that'll be tough. And it doesn't get any easier. San Diego State, likely to be ranked coming in the next block if they are able to continue winning. They have a big matchup against Wyoming. I mean, that could be a ranked matchup there. A couple blocks down the road, we could see a ranked matchup at home against the Aztecs. And then you've got Washington State. Sucks that Matt's not the coach anymore. Personal stuff, life, work has to take priority. So I don't know what to expect from Triple C's and then the last game of the season against Hawaii. But now we're fully going on to conference play. So no more out of conference. All together and out of conference, we finish undefeated. I will gladly take that. Wins on the road against Akron, Jacksonville State. And then at home, wins against Georgia Southern, and then a rival win in our latest game at home against New Mexico State. So we won that 37-24. Take a look at the stats. And then we'll hop back, look at the standings so you can see. In terms of offense, some good, some bad. Points, definitely not a problem. We put up 174 points. Yes, the defense has helped with a few pick sixes, but we rank in the top 25 in points scored. Offense, in terms of yards, top 40. Add in total yards with special teams, top 20. So Luke, a big kick return, a couple of nice punt returns, no touchdowns on the punt return. Sorry, they'd have the 100-yard kick return, no TDs on punt returns, but still productive. First downs, something that always concerns me. A lot of them, but you like to see it turn into points. So we're able to get a few more splash plays. The concern, and I know something that's probably going to be the focus of defenses going forward, is this. So passing, in part, passing is low. We're in the bottom half of the league, but part of it is also because we've had leads and you're not able to pass late. A couple of games, just trying to run the ball and run out, trying to salt the game away in the second half, so you're not really able to pass her in the fourth quarter. But we would like to see more production out the passing game. That's something we're going to have to do if we want to have more wins going forward in the season. Defensively, this kind of do like through 5 games, allowed 79 points, pick 6. So again, we're trying to help the other team score a little bit. But top 27 here, 27, top 30, like to see that. Yards against, that's not so good. But hey, I'll give up yards if that number stays low. Because at the end of the day, you'll figure things out field position-wise. It's about keeping points off the board. You'll win by scoring more, not by getting more yards. See, in running and passing, we're about middle of the pack. First downs, we're doing a better job of getting off the field on third down, which is something that I do like. Special teams has not haunted us yet. Fingers crossed that it stays that way. But no big returns. Of course, we're going to sit really low here. I mean, we're scoring 30 points a game. You're going to kick the ball off a lot, and especially later on in games, people are just trying to run it back, seeing what they can get. Those yards haven't hurt us yet. Even though this number sits at 91, I'm more concerned about this number here. It's more a raw reflection of the defense. So happy with that. In terms of player stats. Okay, quarterback. Need some improved play out of you, buddy. Ever since that last ratings update, or in this case, downgrade for New Mexico, the defense dropped from a 72 to a 66 overall. And let me tell you, it is extremely noticeable in a lot of ways. We lose a slot receiver that had 93 speed. So that takes some speed away from the offense that I was expecting to have when I picked this team. Quarterback is less accurate, so that makes passing the ball a little bit harder, as I found out, both in cup play, in cup play and season play in Mountain West Sunbelt play. Quarterback is a little bit erratic, so we got to try to help him out and make some of his throws easier. Maybe finding ways to generate more space for some of his teammates. But through 5 games, shy of 1,000 yards, 2 TDs. Don't like that number. I'm sure that'll change going forward, but to this point, 2 TDs and 4 interceptions, that's not a good ratio, and you definitely would like to see more than 2 TDs. The run game definitely working, even when lines are stacked, so I'll take that. Sanders on pace for a lot of yards. He's got 700 plus yards, 11 touchdowns on the season, only 8 broken tackles on 87 carries, so it's the thing that I really love is it's not that he's breaking tackles and just making crazy plays. It's we're able to block him into space, get him to the second level where he's able to make guys miss and use his speed to create separation and break long runs versus breaking a tackle here, breaking a tackle there, and then spinning out and busting for a long run. Better, I don't want to say better reflection of what we're trying to do, but I like that better because that means that your offensive line is able to create holes and it forces teams to have to blitz, which makes those runs even scarier because when you pick up the blitz and get into the second level, it's a lot harder to try to get that guy down. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come. We'll see once we get deeper in the conference play. In terms of receivers, you see Luke sort there, leading the team in receptions. I mean, Pope was doing good, but now he's disappeared off the team, so that's a big loss for us. But Luke, we're finding ways to get him more involved in the passing game. Love to see that. Is over 200 yards. Sanders, of course, a couple of checkdowns that he was able to just screen here and there, but really it's been a couple of checkdowns that he's been able to use his speed and break long runs on. Leads the team in yardage, does have a touchdown. The other receiving touchdown is by the tight end, Mr. Bruckler. Really, nothing's too exciting. Don't like that Mr. Ryan Davis can't catch the ball. He's got 4 drops through 5 games. A couple of first down drops. Not a big fan of that, but hoping that he can still find ways to be productive. Medford, we'll see as the season goes on. He jumps into the slot role now that Pope is off the roster. So he just has 2 catches on the season, but I suspect that him and Miller only with 1 catch, they're going to have to factor in a little bit more since we don't have Pope. Offensive line play has been great. Our right tackle, Mr. Wallace, doing a great job. Beckett, left guard, doing a great job. Whether they're pulling, whether they're blocking straight up, they've done a great. They've been really good at helping create holes, just paving truck lanes for Sanders to rush through at times. Hopefully that will continue. Defensively, though, this is really our bread and butter, and this is what has got us to where we are. You see, in terms of tackles, just raw tackles. I guess raw is in just a number of tackles, not solo tackles. Avenger and Wilson leading the way like that. Williams, a little bit different now with the ratings drop. He moves defensively from his original spot when we started this season. Still proactive. Turns to tackles for loss. Lots spread out, but no one in particular. Sacks, 4 through 5 games. That is a little depressing. I'll take the turnovers, but we would like to see guys get in the backfield a little bit more. That hasn't happened as much as I was kind of hoping, especially when you have leads in the second half. People are passing the ball. You got to find ways to get home and be able to get that quarterback down. Interceptions, though, this is the big one. So, doing some math here, that is 11, 14, 16, 18, 22. 22 interceptions through 5 games. It's been our bread and butter defensively. Just defense in general, but the turnovers. Being able to create turnovers, being able to get off the field on 3rd down and force punts. Defense has been doing a good job of helping out the offense a lot. So this is big. Passes deflected. We've got a lot spread out. A lot of guys making plays, and then defensive touchdowns. We've got 3 through 3 games. That's not all that we have. We have 2 fumble recoveries on 4 forced fumbles, so that's not bad. 50%, you'll take that. And then 2 safeties, and both in the same game. So defensively, it looks different than what I'm used to, but we're finding ways to create turnovers. We're finding ways to make plays, splash plays on the defensive side of the ball to help out the offense and help with field position. So happy to see that. In terms of kicking, we missed 2 in the first game of the season. Luke has been perfect since, even making one from 50. Love to see it. And since missing those early 2 field goals, 4 for 4 between 40 and 49 yards. So I'll take that as well. Special teams, don't know why it has Luke here on punt return, because he doesn't have 15, I can assure you. But kick return wise, 15 for 380, the big TD. We needed that against Georgia Southern. We'll take it. We're happy with it. And that's kind of how things are going to look for us statistically right now. Now, going back to the schedule. So going into block 4, we only played 1 game because we have a bye. Now going into the birthday week, hey, EA, as an early birthday present, can you help me win these 2 games? I won't ask for anything else this season, I promise. Well, we'll have 2 games this week. At Air Force against ICE, I don't think we've played before. I know that I don't think we've been in the same conference before either, but he's an NDL vet, just haven't crossed paths. And then Wave, a newer guy, haven't faced him. We're at home. You can see Utah State is 0-3 to this point in the season. ICE 0-4. Sooner or later, they're going to get a win. And those are always the scary games because your instinct is to say, hey, you know, Colorado State, they started 0-2. They're getting rolling. Wyoming, they've been rolling. They have 1 loss, and that loss was to USC by 3. So I know that though the next block after is going to have some really, really tough matchups, but you've got to keep your eyes on what is directly in front of you. These 2 games will be tough. Air Force with the altitude, I'm sure, will be tough, and we'll have to see if we're going to be facing the unique offense, because if so, I did lose to Army last season. Brohan, I believe, had a losing season, but he ran all over me with the flex bone and wishbone. So if this is what we're going to see with Air Force, have to do a much better job of trying to defend it. Utah State, again, it's a winless team, but it is a newer coach. They're still trying to get a win. They would love nothing more than to give us our first loss of the season. And with it being a conference game, even bigger, because those conference games matter. So looking at the conference as a whole, a couple teams with losses. So Air Force already with 2 losses. You've got Nevada, Fresno, and Hawaii all with 1. You got a couple of teams in the middle that haven't played 1 yet, but that clearly will change next block because everyone's going to be jumping heavily into conference play here in the Mountain West. And then you have the undefeateds. And the thing that makes this really interesting is if you look at the teams ahead of me, or at least the teams that are perfect in conference play to this point, I don't play all of them. I don't play San Jose State. I do play SDSU. I do play Wyoming. Boise hasn't played 1 yet. UNLV hasn't played 1 yet. You know, UNLV is getting back from being overseas in Europe, so he'll be getting his games in. These 2 teams I don't play at all. So tiebreakers are going to be really weird. The only thing that you can do is just try to beat the people on your schedule and just let everything else play out how it plays out. Now, it is going to be a little bit of a challenge with the downgrade to the ratings that we've had both offensively and defensively. We'll have to try to figure it out and see if we can make some things work. But the next block will be big. There also is something else to note, even regardless of what happens this season. Let's see, in conference play, I'm 1-0, 5-0 on the season. Go to the coach contract. Looking at what I have right now, I've earned 15 of the 40 points for the coach participation. That'll change because you have to add in a recap, and then obviously 7 more games to play, so potential like this should be a 40. We'll see about the coach reports, see how people think about my gameplay. Definitely changed it up this season versus last season, added a custom playbook so I have some variety, more variety outside of shotgun, and then more variety in shotgun. Nebraska's playbook is nice. Kentucky's playbook is nice, but I feel like either playbook limits me quite a bit outside of shotgun. So try to fuse them together to help out. Still getting used to that. But then the season success, this is what I wanted to point out. So season success, we've already hit almost everything so far. The win goal for the season is 3. We've got 5 wins. So wins over win goal, that's 2 extra points. This is a raw, so that's 2 total points. Whatever I get out of 100, we can add 2 points right now to the win goal, and anything else I get will get added as well. So we already met that. That's 40% of the 20 points. 20. Conference goals, if we win one more, we'll get that. That would be 30% of the 20, and then rivalry game, we won that. So already we've got 70% of the 20 points. Math, that would be 14 points. So if we win one more game, that gives me 6. That'll give me 20 out of 20 here, 40 out of 40 here. So it'd be 60, and then we'd have to see the coach reports. But this right here makes things interesting. On the road, I've got 3 wins. That's 6 extra points. Wins over win goal to this point is 2. So whatever my final score is, you can add 8 to that. And then the question mark. What happens with ranked? I'm not looking ahead, but I'm just looking ahead in terms of ranked. Colorado State's, they're getting their season together here now that we're in conference play. Wyoming, San Diego State, those 2 teams, if they can go on a run, potentially those are ranked opponents when the time comes. I believe San Diego State and Wyoming will both be ranked going into this block. The question is how high, and they're going to play each other. So that's going to be a big deal. I believe one of them plays San Jose State this block too. So yeah, big block for Wyoming, San Diego State, and San Jose State. And clearly this is a big block in terms of the Mountain West too. But these are 2 teams that are undefeated in conference play. And then for San Diego State, you've got just Wyoming. But then coming up, you've also got Boise State too. So playing against my buddy Sean, I'm sure we'll have conversations about the game. Weird thing about us both being in conference, like we tend to watch each other's games, but it's a little bit different because we talk. So we're able to talk through some of the things that we see or don't see. So it can make things interesting. But as it stands now, after we finish this next block, we'll be halfway through the season. Will we be 5-2? Will we be 7-0? Will we be in the middle at 6-1? I don't know. But as we get further into conference play, we'll kind of see some teams start to separate out, see how things kind of look. But right now, our focus is only on the task at hand. And that will be the 2 games coming up at Air Force and Utah State.